Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
All right. You want to move on to movies?
Yeah, alright. So, we saw The Shallows last night.
We did. And I think we had two very differing experiences watching this movie.
Look,
close, but you know.
Look, I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie.
I don't even think it's a good movie.
I don't think it's a good movie. I think something you said stuck with me yesterday, and I couldn't find the words, and you found them for me when you said this movie was trying to be smarter than it actually was.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. That's why it didn't. It didn't work. So,
all right. So
let's give let's just say what the story is. And
The Shallows follows Blake Lively's character Nancy, who has apparently gone through some family turmoil and has taken a retreat to some. I guess she was in like Mexico or something.
Some secret beach in Mexico.
Yeah, some secret beach in Mexico, and she goes surfing, and turns out there's a shark in the water, and now she has to survive and try and get, because she's only, from what I read, apparently she was only like 200, granted that's still far, but like she was only 200 yards from the shore, so like she's like just close enough, but it just sucks because it's a fucking shark and you can't really outswim that. So like she has to use all of her smarts and cunning to try and get herself out of this situation. Really, what it comes down to is this was a survival movie.
Exactly, yeah. So the director was Jaume Collet Serra. I'm sorry.
I'm not even going to be able to pronounce it very well.
Jaume Collet Serra,
yeah.
I think that's it. So, he directed movies such as Unknown and Nonstop.
Yeah,
which
he
are pretty
directed
good
a bunch
movies.
of Liam Neeson movies.
Yeah, they're decent movies. They're, nothing to rave about. But all right,
didn't he also direct? Was it Orphan?
Yeah, I actually liked that one.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Right.
So I just got excited because I forgot. So, I'll name the two things I liked about this movie. I thought it looked good visually. I thought there was a lot of colors. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the colors were popping. The other thing I liked was the shark effects, and actually there's a third thing that I liked. Blake Lively was okay.
Very attractive in this movie.
She was attractive, but she was fine. She was fine for what she was given. It wasn't like if she was a piece of shit actress, and we had to sit through there, it would have been even worse for me. But she was okay. She was serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on her as an actress.
I tip her 3%.
She's not a bad actress per se. It's just like she still hasn't found like her niche yet.
Yeah, somebody told me this was her niche. I was like, this is not her niche, man. This is not her niche.
I mean, like, probably the best things that she's been in so far is, like, The Town.
Yeah, and she, had minor parts in it.
Yeah. Like, she works well, I guess, as a background character or as a supporting character.
Right.
That's not to say that she can't helm her own film, because, she did hold her own here, because pretty much this whole movie was just her. But that's not saying much when she spent probably 40% of the movie just laying on a rock.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just thought of something. Like, what if, somebody like, I don't know, David Fincher made this and Emily Blunt was the main actress?
It would be a much better movie.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Movie. Just Emily Blunt would just kick so much ass and...
I'd believe it.
Yeah.
It's not to say that I didn't believe this story, but it was just I checked my watch a few times watching this movie. Not that it was super long, but it was just there were points where I'm just is it gonna end yet?
So let's talk about how melodramatic this movie is.
This movie really
they tried really hard to tug at your heartstrings.
Yeah. Because it's okay, I guess we're getting into spoiler territory now.
It's the fucking Shallows, really is.
But I don't want to screw people over if they intended to see the movie. We're getting into spoiler territory now, so, here's your warning. Essentially what happens is her mother dies and she considers dropping out of med school to surf or some shit.
Oh, they established she's in med school like 3 times.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue. Like, I like clever foreshadowing. I like, when they set things up for later in the movie. But they did it in such a ham-fisted way in this movie. Like, it starts off and she's got this like weird tour guide that and her tour guide is Roman Reigns. Yeah, he looked like a skinny Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But so her tour guide is like, he's telling her, she's like, is there anything that I should be looking out for out there in the water? He's
fucking
like,
shark.
He's like, well, you see, there's a rock formation over there, but it's really not an issue until low tide, so like don't worry about it for now. And also, like, there's a coral reef and it burns like a jellyfish. I'm like, gee, I wonder if at any point in this movie the tide is going to get low and she's going to hang out on those rocks, and then at some point she's either going to step on the freaking coral or whatever and it's going to sting her. Why jellyfish specifically? And of course a shit ton of jellyfish just pop up out of nowhere later in the movie.
My thing was this. I think that the foreshadowing that pissed me off was the medical thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because she said it to the people she was surfing with. I'm in the medical field. Her dad
was like, don't give up on med school.
Yeah, all before the whole shark attack.
Which I feel like took a while to jump off.
I want to flash back, though. No, I think that was fine. I think that the pacing was okay. I think because if you would have had the whole time, the shark was circling around, it would have gotten exhausting. I think the runtime was good. It was what, hour 20?
No, I think it was longer than that. Keep talking. I'll play.
No, but it felt like an hour 20, hour 27. But I just I didn't. I want to flash back to like I was going to say.
You're right. Hour 26 minutes.
Hour 26. Yeah. I wanted to flash back to the green room.
Okay.
Remember when the guy knew jujitsu or whatever?
Yeah.
But they said it once, and it wasn't even like something crazy.
It was just because like the guy got upset and like went to like he kind of like attacked someone, but not really. He kind of someone pissed him off and he held him up against a wall, and then somebody's like, "Whoa, jujitsu!"
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, and that's all the establishment that we needed.
That's it. It was very subtle. Like he didn't go, "Oh, I'm training for my jujitsu tournament later this month. I hope I do all right." Or like in Jurassic World, no, not Jurassic World, the Lost World, Jurassic Park, the second one, where remember the. I had
my gymnastics failed.
Yeah. I can't stand that shit. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the critical part of my brain. I can't stand that. But the other thing I couldn't stand either was I didn't care about the relationships, man.
No, not really.
I didn't care, man. I just
like honestly, there was no real relationship between like her and her father or her sister. Like, yeah, they were there, but it was only to service the plot that like she's running away from her responsibilities and her duties, and to set up that it's like your mother was a fighter till the end, and it's like, well, because my mom never gave up, I can't give up now either. And I'm like, I get it, that's fine, but it's just like it was so heavy-handed. It just didn't work for me. You know what surprisingly took me out of the movie pretty early? And we talked about this last night, was when she's surfing. Oh, and every time, and like they had this
surf montage. Basically,
they had this surf montage, and they had this song playing over it, and every time she went under the water, the music just dropped out completely. Like not like it got muffled or anything, but just completely disappeared. And that would be fine in a movie where like they establish that the music that we hear as a soundtrack for the movie is actually taking place in this world, but it wasn't, because she's out in the middle of the water. She didn't have headphones on. There wasn't like a speaker or anything. She's just they just happened to be playing this song over this surf montage.
Yeah.
And every single time she went under the water, the music cut out. And, like, that took me out of the film because it's just, like, there's no reason for this. They just wanted to be, like, they thought that they were being smart. It just didn't do anything for me.
That didn't bother me as much as, you know, as much as the melodramatic shit. But the other thing I want to mention, too, is that, you know, I mentioned it earlier, but I just want to mention it again, is that the shark effects are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I thought the shark effects
were pretty good. How the shark died was, like, cartoony.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after a while, this movie pretty much, like, you and I were fucking in hysterics pretty much the whole time watching this movie. This movie somehow turned into a comedy for us.
It was unintentionally funny.
There were so many things that happened that it's just like, what? Like, okay, so the first time she gets attacked by the shark, it bites her leg, it brings her down into the water, which that was a really good effect.
Good shot, too.
That was a really good shot where it brings her under the water and, like, it's pulling her through her own blood in the water. So, like, at first, you know, she's, like, in the water and it's really, like, blue, and then it starts to become gray as she gets deeper and it gets darker, and then all of a sudden it's just all red because she's swimming in her own blood.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was really well done. But they kind of fucked it up. Not that part, but, like, there was just so much slow-mo in this movie for no reason.
I forgot about that, yeah. Well, it was...
Like that was, like, the one time that I was just like, this is good. I like this.
Well, it's like you said. They did it for the runtime.
Right. They just did it to pad out the runtime, I feel like, because it was, like, every 5 seconds there was... They even hit, like, slow-mo when she was laying on the rock. Like, at one point
she was eating the fucking apple. I think there was slow-mo there.
It was so ridiculous. But, so she gets attacked by the shark for the first time. It bites her leg. And she's looking around for, like, somewhere to go after she finally surfaces from the water. And the shark, I guess, must have, like, I don't know. It was, like, close behind or something. And what happened was, apparently, I guess it, like, had killed a whale at one point. And so she's looking around. And I get that she's, like, she's panicking, but she swims out onto the whale.
That I thought was interesting.
Like, she gets on this dead whale, and she what did she think was gonna happen? Of course, the shark is gonna fucking still come for her. One, you know, it'll follow the trail of blood. Two, it's a dead whale that's also bleeding.
Well, look, she was panicking,
and I get that.
But here's what pissed me off, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here. How did you not see that dead whale?
Yeah.
In the ocean.
No, she did. That's how she got attacked. I completely forgot. That's how she got attacked the first time, because she saw the dead whale and then went out to it further in the water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was dumb.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I was just. Oh, and let's talk. The other quick thing too. Talk about the Mexican guy that was stealing the shit from her.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
It was hilarious.
So
man.
At this point, she's been there for about like 12 hours. I feel like it was like early in the morning, probably like 4 or 5ish, somewhere around that time. And there's some drunk guy who's just on the beach, because I guess she had fallen asleep on the rock, which I don't know how you could, but. There's some drunk guy on the beach, and she's yelling for help, and she's like, "Get my phone out of my bag! Yeah, the bag over there!" So he, like, drunkenly stumbles over, and you think he's gonna help her, and he just steals her shit and, like, runs off. And then somehow, I guess he noticed her surfboard in the water, and was just like, "I'm going to steal this surfboard, too."
Yeah, and then that was obviously gonna be him getting eaten by the shark.
Yeah.
Here's what pissed me off. He gets bitten, or like bitten in half.
Yeah.
He starts crawling on the beach,
and then
still alive. He dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the?
Yeah, because
like, did the water pull it in, or?
Okay, so I don't know how this makes any sense, because like you said, he gets torn in half somehow by the shark, and he crawled, like, the torso half of his body, he crawls onto the beach, and then the next, like, he just dies, and then the next morning, the two
it looks
guys
shitty, by the way.
Yeah, you could clearly tell where, like, the green screen pants ended. But the two guys that were there surfing with her the day before come back, and there's no body on the beach.
Not there. Yeah, well,
so we have to assume that,
close?
like, it was dragged out by the waves or whatever. But, like, unless it was high tide, which they established throughout the movie hadn't come yet because they kept counting down. Because I don't know what the hell why they thought this was a good idea. Like, I don't get it, but, like, they kept showing, they had, like, a real-time watch, like, on the screen. Like, it was her watch, but, like, it was disembodied from the watch itself and just on the screen. Like, they did that with the text messages and with, like, her Skype call or whatever. So they kept showing, like, a countdown to when the low tide was coming and the high tide. And they just to tell you the time in general, like how long she's been out there. So they kept building up to when high tide was going to finally come. That would have really been the only time that the waves would have been strong enough to pull the
that
body.
Guy,
yeah.
Unless the shark, like, threw him in the water somehow.
I don't know.
But yeah. So what would you give this out of 10?
The Shallows for me is gonna get like a 4.55.
I'm at a 5.5. What would you give a letter grade?
Letter grade, D+.
C. I'd give it a C. Yeah. So, anyways, but the goods. Some of Blake Lively's acting was okay to me.
It was passable. I guess.
It was passable. Yeah. The shark effects were really cool. And the movie's actually really beautiful too. It's beautiful to look at.
It looks good.
The bads, pretty much everything else. The story wasn't that interesting, which surprises me because this was apparently on the blacklist for scripts.
Yeah.
Which is weird. The other thing too is the melodramatic stuff. I did not care for that.
I don't know. The movie just didn't work for me.
It felt goofy at times, like the way she killed the shark and everything.
Yeah, she was out on a buoy, and then the shark knocked it over, and the chain that was holding it, I guess, because, it makes sense because the chain is heavy, so, like, as it's falling to the ground, she grabs onto it, and it pulls her, like, towards the bottom, where there's, like, a bunch of steel girders or whatever, and somehow she manages to, like, barrel roll out of the way while the shark is following her, and it impales itself.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that much.
That didn't do anything for me. I thought it was kind of silly. But I was going to say, the last thing I want to mention about this movie, my favorite line was when she's on the whale and the shark comes after her and she's just like, "Where are you taking me?"
That made me laugh.
Like, the fuck? Who are you talking to?
That was hilarious.